Thank you very much. Thank you very much, dear Emmanuel, Mr. President. Thank you for the invitation and for the organization, and Keir, Mr. Prime Minister, Friedrich, Mr. Chancellor, Steve, Jared, dear journalists, everyone present. First of all, thank you for our meeting, and this is one of the most representative meetings of the Coalition of the Willing. 27 leaders of states, the European Union, NATO, representatives of Turkey, Japan, Australia, New Zealand. A truly global meeting and a very high level of discussion. It is important that today there are substantive coalition documents. These are not just words, there are specifics, a joint declaration of all coalition countries and a trilateral declaration of France, Britain, and Ukraine. These documents exist, and this is a signal of how seriously both Europe and the entire coalition of the willing are ready to work for real security. With these documents, we are strengthening further legal work in countries with parliaments so that, at the moment when diplomacy works to end the war, we will be fully ready to deploy the forces of the coalition of the willing. The details have been worked out within a set of additional documents. It has been determined which countries are ready to take the lead in elements of security assurance on the ground, in the air, at sea, and in recovery. It has been determined what forces are needed. It has been determined how the forces will be managed and at what levels command will operate. It must be determined how the monitoring will work. It must be absolutely clearly defined how the appropriate strength and size of the Ukrainian army will be supported and financed. I spoke about this separately today. We believe that the key element is our Ukrainian strength. All other elements will work effectively on the basis of our army. The militaries of France, Britain, and Ukraine worked in detail on deployment, on numbers, on specific types of weapons, on the components of the armed forces that are needed and that will be able to work. We already have these necessary details. We understand which country is ready to do what among all the countries of the coalition of the willing. I want to thank every leader. I want to thank every state that really wants to be part of a peace agreement. We spoke substantively today with the American team about monitoring so that there are no violations of peace. America is ready to work on this. This is very important for us. One of the most important components is deterrence. These are the instruments that will prevent new Russian aggression. And we see all this. We have also made significant progress with the American negotiating team in working on the documents. Today, here in Paris, we had and will still have separate meetings with Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner. We believe we have prepared documents on security guarantees. Bilateral, Ukraine, America, as well as trilateral documents. We expect that signing may be possible in the near future, and we are already working through these formats. God willing, we will truly succeed. We appreciate the United States' willingness to support forces that must prevent the recurrence of Russian aggression. A backstop from America is important for us. We understand what the timing of all processes can be. We all agree that these must be security guarantees based on legal obligations, including those approved by the United States Congress. Of course, there are still issues with the documents. There are some issues with the 20-point documents. The biggest issue that still needs to be worked on is the territorial issue. We've discussed some ideas that might help. If the teams cannot resolve certain issues, this question can be elevated to the level of leaders. Today we will continue. The Ukrainian team remains for additional meetings and further negotiations. I want to thank you, Emmanuel, for giving us this opportunity for our teams to meet for 2 days. Thank you, and thank you very much to our American colleagues. But the main thing is that the architecture of what security must look like after this war is already in place, and it is within our partners' power to push so that Russia comes to the moment of ending the war. Ukraine has never been an obstacle to peace. Russia was the source, the beginning of this war and the source of aggression. And in such a formula, it is clear who should take the key steps. I thank everyone who helps us, everyone who helps to ensure that everything is done so that there is peace. Everyone understands that the aggressor must stop for peace to work, and all the instruments for that are working, from our deep strikes, sanctions, and diplomacy, which is so important. It is very important that today we also spoke about our air defense, and other leaders of the coalition of the willing raised this issue as well. This is a daily task for us. It's true. Ukraine needs missiles for air defense, continuous supplies, because Russian strikes, unfortunately, despite diplomacy, do not stop. Russia is not investing 100% in diplomacy yet, but it is not investing only because it is counting on a strike on our energy, on our infrastructure, on peaceful cities and villages. Therefore, at every meeting, including on air defense, we raise this issue, and in Mar-a-Lago we discussed it with President Trump. I thank him very much for his understanding and support. And here in Paris, we also raise the issue of air defense. The stronger our defense, the stronger diplomacy will be in the end. Thank you to everyone who is ready to help quickly. Glory to Ukraine.